What is up, my viewers? Spang here, bringing you a monthly channel update for April of 2015. The short of the video is keep calm and kill all the Titans! My trigger is Titans! Inside reference for those of you who are geeks of the internet, just as I am. And first and foremost, I know it's been a long while since I've uploaded any sort of video to my channel, especially an update. I think the last one was in January, maybe. And I should have done the research on my own channel, right? But I just want to say up front, I'm sorry for as long as I've been inactive. For those of you following my Twitter account, you may have a bit of a better idea, but that's why I'm doing this video, is to just kind of fill in the gaps. And just a warning, if you haven't already looked at how long the video is, it's probably going to be about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to cover a lot of ground. I'm going to try and focus on the things that matter most to you guys first, and then get into a bit of the more nitty-gritty details that maybe you might not want to know, or maybe you don't even necessarily need to know. I'd like to think that everything I'm including is somewhat relevant to you guys, but just being up front, the beginning of the video is going to probably focus mostly on the things you guys want to know. So getting right into it. First things, real life plans and issues. That's pretty much the reason for my unexpected hiatus. I mean, I know I've had a bad habit of taking unexpected breaks from my YouTube channel and not really giving you guys any sort of information, and which is why I'm trying to make these monthly channel updates really monthly. And I'm not doing a good job of it so far, but you'll see why when I get into the details right here. So, first and foremost, for those, no one probably knows this who watches my YouTube channel, except for maybe some of my friends who follow, but my date of separation from the US Air Force is coming up, which means I am getting out of the active duty side and I'm actually going over to the guard side. So I'm mainly doing that so I can go back to school and focus on my academics and basically pursue that for a couple of years. But right now I'm doing a lot of things, preparing myself for that, as well as just preparing my paperwork I need to get in order for getting out of the Air Force. So that's been taking up a lot of my time, a lot of my focus, a lot of my energy. Second, I don't know if I mentioned this on my channel previously, but I recently upgraded my desktop computer. The old motherboard was outdated, I couldn't really use new graphics cards. Even my current GTX 680, which is a 3.0 PCI Express interface, was in a 2.0 slot because that's all my old motherboard had. So I spent quite a bit of time and energy upgrading that and getting everything reinstalled and set up. My laptop's been having some issues as well, which is another reason why I haven't really continued using that. I've been getting a lot of blue screens on it lately, with the message most common of memory management. I've tracked it down, I think I know what's wrong. I'm trying to troubleshoot it and get it up and running and fixed, and ideally that'll be done in the next month or so, if not sooner. I think I fixed it enough to where I can start rendering videos again on it, but we'll see. And finally, along with that, I've been trying to get better with Sony Vegas Pro, which is my editor that I use for my videos. And mostly just to see how I can increase the quality. I've done some research, I've messed around with it. First thing you're going to notice is probably the pixelation, the bitrate of my videos is going to be better, and the fact that it's definitely going to be clearer and hopefully easier to make out. The lighting should hopefully be better as well, but I'm also looking to try and increase frame rates to take advantage of YouTube's newer higher definition settings. With Let's Plays and such, you should probably see 60 frames per second. With World of Tanks, I'm going to try and tweak my video graphic settings and such to get it at least to 45 frames per second, because I know YouTube recognizes that. The trick there is mainly just in the fact that World of Tanks is really not that well optimized, and sure, my computer isn't the best out there, but it should be good enough to run it at 60 frames per second. But World of Tanks doesn't like multi-core, World of Tanks doesn't like SLI, it doesn't really utilize the resources your computer has at hand to give you the optimal performance. And the devs are working on that, but as to what extent we're going to see improvements in the future, it's up in the air. So ideally, I can get you 45 frames per second when I render on my desktop, but I'll get to that in a second. Secondly, these videos are going to be renamed under the MISC. So it's basically going to stand for monthly information for subscribers and contributors. And you might ask, what's the difference? Well, a contributor is someone who donates to my channel via replays. Maybe in the future, if I start up a Patreon, or I know that's not the right way to say it, but that's just how I say it. Or I know YouTube has the functionality to add viewer funding or something along those lines if I separate from my partnership, which I might. I'm not necessarily getting all too much out of my partnership, but I'd only do so if I really got back into the swing of things with my YouTube channel. And I would, again, that would just be like if you guys liked what you were seeing and you wanted to help support me and motivate me to do more videos, just be like, throw $1 my way randomly or something. Like, oh, people are liking my stuff, they want me to make more, and I'm not trying to say you guys, I don't want you guys to bribe me. I'm just saying if people were finding enjoyment out of my videos and they wanted a way to help me focus more on that, especially now that I'm going guard, part-time guard, and going back to school, maybe give me, make my life a bit easier so I can not focus on trying to find another part-time job or working as much, so I would have another means of supporting myself. But I don't want to feel like I know it's an unpopular subject, right? I'm just putting it out there because I believe in, you know, just being clear and upfront and honest with people. And I definitely don't like to take advantage of people. So I'm just trying to be upfront with you guys. But next thing is, so finally going into the replays and such. I have been getting the replays you guys have been sending in. Even despite my inactivity, I'm still getting a few here and there. So your loyalty is just outstanding, and I cannot thank you guys enough for your contribution. My replays, as I have said in so many of my videos, are only so entertaining because I know what's going to happen. There's not that excitement factor for me, and for you guys that kind of translates, because if I'm not excited about what's happening in the gameplay as much, it's harder for you guys to be entertained by it. And granted, I started off my channel by doing only my replays, but I really want to just keep trying to get further and further away from that. And sure, you'll see some of my replays here and there on my channel, but I want the main focus to shift to viewer submitted replays. And of course, not all of them are going to get through, but I gotta still have a screening process, of course. But ideally, you guys are good enough at self-screening to where I shouldn't have to reject all too many. And I haven't really had to reject many. I don't think I've rejected a single one yet, but I'm also incredibly behind on replays. So that leads perfectly into the next subject of what exactly I'm doing to try and catch up. So I have my desktop, I have my laptop. My laptop is going to be used for the old 9.4 replays, and yes, I still have 9.4 replays to get through. And those are probably going to be older quality videos, like more what my channel used to be. Still 1080p, don't get me wrong. It will, but it'll most likely be used to the quality you're seeing, which is good, but could be better. 9.5 and forward is probably going to be on my desktop until I run out of 9.4 replays, and then I might shift my 9.5 replays. So you guys will see a difference in quality between some of my videos, but it should still be good enough quality to where you can enjoy the videos without any sort of interruptions. So I've got plenty of 9.4 and 9.5 and 9.6 replays to get through, and 9.7 is probably about a week or two away, depending on how long this common test lasts. They just released common test 4 like the other day. And so I am going to try and get caught up after I get my life in order. Now that is the big caveat there. This next month and two, and maybe, I'd say, yeah, 2 months out, you are probably going to see spontaneous videos from me at best. I don't think I can promise regular uploads, so I apologize for those who were hoping this video would be like, hey, he's getting back into it, he's gonna have a video up every day, and he's really gonna buckle down and, you know, get back to what he loves. And I would love to do that, but life isn't really aligning for that right now. I can try as best I can to get a regular video out, but it's probably going to be only a couple a week at best. And again, that goes back to being just transparent and honest with you guys about things. Streaming. I do want to figure out how to do streaming properly, right? So I need to do my research, figure out exactly what all the people who do streaming as a regular thing use. I am registered on Twitch. I have an account there. I just have to figure out what broadcaster I'm going to use on Twitch, which means I've looked into them a little. I know it's available. I don't know what each one has to offer, however, and I don't really know how to use any of them. So maybe this weekend I'll find some time to research that a bit more, and at the very least I can bring you guys weekly streams. Or who knows, I really just want to get into the habit of streaming when I'm doing pubbies and World of Tanks and platooned up with fellow Fugitive members, or maybe platooned up with some of my buddies in Esprit de Corps, or, you know, any of the higher skilled players, or maybe even streaming with Mache as a substitute for the Let's Go Tanking series, which again leads in really well to my next subject, which is the Let's Plays. First of all, I am kind of changing up policy on there. If the game has a sort of storyline, if it's a single player experience, and I'm doing it to completion, I'm probably not going to start uploading those videos until I am completely done recording the series and rendering the series. That way I can bring you guys regular uploads, like one every day or one every other day, depending on how I want to space them out. And that way you guys won't get left with a to be continued sort of feeling when I have to take a break. The only way I'll start uploading replays and Let's Plays in the future is if they are done. So that should be better for you guys. It's going to be better for me, especially that way I don't feel as guilty. There won't be that guilt there, period, because I won't be leaving you guys hanging. Now, there are going to be exceptions to that, like with the Let's Go Tanking series. Any sort of impromptu series that's kind of just like a fun little thing I do that's a multiplayer sort of capacity Let's Play, that'll be just uploaded as they're done. And speaking of which, I do have a Let's Go Tanking on my hard drive right now. I do need to edit and render. I think I can promise to get that done this weekend, so you should probably expect that the Monday after this video is uploaded, or sometime sooner, sometime around that Monday, hopefully. I noticed YouTube was actually giving me a lot of problems with processing as of late. It was taking an incredibly long time to get my uploaded videos processed and out to subscribers, which I don't know what YouTube's going through when I was doing that. Now, that was a couple weeks ago, I guess, but it is what it is. And as far as Let's Plays go, so Let's Go Tanking is probably going to be a thing as it happens. As long as Mache is always interested in doing World of Tanks, and as long as I'm doing World of Tanks, it's probably going to be a thing. Even if I transfer over to Armored Warfare, I'll probably get Mache to play Armored Warfare, and we'll continue Let's Go Tanking. We also had an idea of doing Drunk Tanks, and which is where we just turn it into kind of a drinking game. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition. Not that I'm promoting drinking or anything, of course, but it's just going to be kind of a comedic thing. If you're old enough to drink, do so responsibly and in the safety of your home and around friends and family who'll take care of you. Don't do stupid things like go out, get smashed at a bar, and not have anyone to drive you home, and then end up getting mugged on the street or crashing your car into a telephone pole or something like that. So be responsible. I figure I should put that caveat in there. Dust Let's Play. That is probably going to be the first one I focus on getting back to. After that, I have to do Spec Ops because of a promise to a friend. And not only that, I'm genuinely interested in the storyline of Spec Ops. My friend really wanted me to do it because he wanted my kind of military perspective. And I think it's beneficial it's been put off for this long, just because that's given me more military perspective, especially after my deployment to Afghanistan. Definitely given me a better kind of situational... what am I looking for here in terms of... You get what I'm saying, though. Better knowledge of the subject, better experience and first-hand ability to commentate on what's going on. Granted, I'm an engine mechanic, right? I'm not on the front lines, but at the same time, it's one of those things of I have been in a combat zone, not as a combat troop, but I have been in that capacity to where I am in that combat zone. There is the potential to be attacked by hostiles. And especially, I'm not going to try and reveal too much about what my deployment was, but I was working in the capacity to where I did have to have the means with which to defend myself should something have happened. Definitely not a frontline troop, though. I don't want to try and claim that whatsoever. Finally, I do want to see Brobots come back to life. And again, all these Let's Plays are going to follow that same policy of not really doing them, but not really uploading them again until I have completed the series as much as it can be completed. Again, the exceptions are kind of the impromptu series, like Let's Go Tanking, but again, I do not want to leave you guys hanging for extended periods of time with an interruption in a Let's Play series. It's detrimental to the series, it's not fun for you guys, it's guilt-tripping for me because I just feel terrible about doing that stuff, so I'm not doing it anymore. And not to mention, there are several others that I have on my Steam list that I am looking towards doing Let's Plays for. I mean, there is a long list of videos that I intend to put out. And don't worry, I'm going to not let this detract from my World of Tanks videos. I'm not really going to start focusing on Let's Plays too much until I get to a regular 1 or 2 World of Tanks replays uploaded a day. And that's going to depend strongly on the replay availability. If I catch up on all my replays and you guys don't really send in any and I'm not really getting any of my own that are good enough for me to consider to upload, there may be lulls in the action. On the other hand, if you guys are sending it a lot, I may have to get one of my buddies to help me screen through them and kind of like become the approving official. I've tried doing that in the past. I didn't really have anyone dedicated enough to do it. I might have to basically hire someone, especially if it becomes a point where my YouTube channel does start making me money. I can definitely hire one of my friends to help me along with that. So we'll see what the future holds in that respect. But getting back to the Let's Play subject, there is going to be a possibility that I will do a Star Wars Let's Play for May. Just because May the 4th and all that fun little geek culture. I'm a huge fan of any Star Wars series, honestly. Knights of the Old Republic, Empire at War. There's quite a few out there, actually. Star Wars Battlefront was always fun. So I do enjoy the Star Wars series a great deal. I'm not a huge fanboy, but I do appreciate it. I do enjoy it. So honestly, you know what? If you want to see something like that, or if you got recommendations for what what game I should do a video series on, right now I'm thinking Knights of the Old Republic because, well, it's a classic, and I've played it. I enjoy it. You know, it's something known to me. It's a safe route, but at the same time, I have pretty much almost all the Star Wars games on Steam. So if you have a recommendation for what Star Wars game you would like to see for May, I can definitely see about making it happen. You will probably see that get uploaded about mid-May if it happens. So past May the 4th, but still in the spirit of the month. So we will see what happens there. But like I said, recommendations in the description below. And finally, there is going to be a policy change to ASQ. First of all, videos like this, the blogs, one of you guys recommended, and I cannot recall who, and that's an injustice to that person that I'm not recalling their name, but they recommended for blogs like what this is going to be now is the MISC, the miscellaneous or monthly information for subscribers and contributors, as well as my ASQs, which is where I'm answering subscriber questions. Those and their titles, it's going to have a brief description of what it covers. Like for this one, it's going to say hiatus explanation. I'll probably find a way to shorten that. Let's plays, rah 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 rah. I'm just gonna try and label my video so you guys know what more each blog video is about, and that way if you couldn't remember what I said about something, you can just look at my previous ones and just look at the title and have a good idea which one you should look at, ideally. And secondly, for ASQs, I know I was initially trying to do them as a monthly thing, but just because, you know, the inconsistency with how many questions would get put in there, I'm basically changing the policy to whenever I get a minimum of, I'm gonna leave each video up for at least a month before I address it. And if at the end of that month I do not have at least 5 questions, I'm just gonna keep plugging it in these videos and say, hey, if you got questions, check the description below for the last ASQ video that was uploaded, and ask me anything personal or professional in the sense of like what I'm doing with my career in the military, what my favorite guns are, or what my favorite tanks are in World of Tanks, what my favorite maps are, what my strategies are, what my plans are, what my thoughts are on about this, that, or the other. So ASQs are, again, about anything, but there will always be a description to the latest one in any MISC video. And again, I will not be uploading a new ASQ answering questions until I have at least 5, but those will be up for at least a month as well. So I covered a lot of ground in this video, just between 15 and 20 minutes like I estimated, but I appreciate you guys for sticking with me if you did, especially through all my ramblings. As you can tell, I'm a bit out of practice, but not too much. I feel like I did decently well for myself in this video, and hopefully the more I do them, the more streamlined and fluid I will get to where I'm not rambling on as much, and I'll be more to the point and more succinct, so you guys don't have to sit through as long of a period. But I have certainly rambled on long enough for this month. Actually, one final thing that I almost forgot, and just slipped my mind again. You'll see it in the next video if I remember. Man, that is a floating thought. Just kidding. Okay, so I actually did remember, and I want to get it in this video because I just wanted to let you guys know I was kind of going back and forth on how much editing I was going to be putting into my blog videos. Just as a form of entertainment, if I was going to try and cut them up like so many people do, if I was going to try and put little words floating across the screen here and there, you know. But in the end, you will see my videos stay true to this form. just minimal editing so you guys can get the information as quickly as possible. So I'm not spending like 30 minutes to an hour to 2 hours editing a blog video to be entertaining when the whole purpose of it is to just get information out. Secondly, if you have an ASQ question that you want to submit to me, Twitter is a viable option as well. You don't have to necessarily put it in the description of the ASQ video, the latest ASQ, but I will definitely see it there. But if you tweet at my Spang's game, at my Twitter channel, which is at Spang's Games, with the hashtag SpangASQ, then I will definitely address it and answer it in the next ASQ as well. And again, ASQ is just for me to answer any questions you guys have, to help you to get to know me better. I want to be as personable with you guys as possible. You know, that way if you ever see me, if it gets to the point where I'm going to conventions and stuff and you're a fan and you see me, it won't feel like I'm a stranger to you. But certainly, you're a stranger to me, but I'm a friendly guy. I like meeting strangers. I like meeting new people. And finally, now some of you may have been wondering, you said, they're like, oh, you said you're going back to school. You said you're getting out of the active duty military and going to guard, but you didn't say where. So kind of exciting news for me is I am moving in with my buddy Mache, which should ideally make collaborative projects between the two of us, like Let's Go Tanking, a bit more common. But those are the 3 things I definitely want to include in this video and forgot about, despite having a list on my computer. It just goes to show that not everything makes it onto the list. Even when you plan, things still fall through the cracks, and boy, does the military teach you about that a lot. But getting back to the end of this video, thank you again for sticking all the way through it if you did, and if you didn't, well, I still love you anyway. But you won't know that, will you? Oh, how sad. That is terrible. But until next time, this is Spang, and I am signing off.